Hey everyone, we are here at the FireBoard HQ and we're actually going to do a second video. We tried to do a video, we kind of failed like a month ago, right Alec?
Yeah.
So I'm here with Alec, he's our social media manager. We're going to go through some cold smoke techniques with you guys here today. And like I said, about a month ago we tried to do this, we basically failed. So we've kind of gone back to the drawing board and tried to figure out what to fix. And in the meantime, one of our affiliates, he's a YouTube guy, SmokingDadBBQ. He has a new video out on cold smoke. He did a great job. So he actually compared the FireBoard drive, and then he compared, I think it's a little device that it kind of is a smoke chamber.
Yeah, it was like a pellet tube smoker, and then the Smoke AI, I think, is like the chamber type thing that's used for cold smoking, only cold smoking. But he had the approach of including our FireBoard 2 drive and showing how that you can use our product not only for long smoking brisket, pork butts, whatever it may be, but actually using it in an alternative way with something like cheese.
Right. Yeah. And I know we've done cold smoke stuff with pellet grills before, and one of our controllers, you can actually turn a mode on where it puts a little bit of wood pellets into the little firebox, turns on the igniter just long enough for that wood to smolder, and then it basically turns off and it'll just sit there and kind of smoke. So there's really no fire, it's just smoke. So anyway, we're gonna go through this. We're gonna walk around here outside. You guys can follow us along. We're gonna go through our HQ here and show you what we have set up. We've got this kind of set up here out on the sidewalk here at the front of our building, and thought we could kind of go through an example of kind of what we're gonna do. And again, this is kind of dual purpose, right? This is kind of like an experiment. I've never actually done a cold smoke on a Primo Kamado before, and I know Smoking Dad has kind of done this a few times. You know, this is just a normal Kamado setup. We've got some cheese down here. We have a tray full of ice to kind of keep things cool. This is what he suggested. Alex on our secondary camera, we got everything all going, and we're going to set this up for you kind of as we speak. So Alec, why don't we pop this open? What I have here is I have just a small amount of charcoal, and it's basically left over. Right?
Yeah, it was used charcoal. I don't remember the science behind that, but James mentioned in his video he used a couple different wood, bricks you can call it, and then mentioned that he wanted to use used charcoal. So
this is kind of our ad hoc little outdoor video studio. We're kind of experimenting, and then this setup with this round Kamado, we didn't have any equipment that actually let us have a dual shelf here. So this is a total makeshift deal. We literally...
This is what we do at FireBoard. We find stuff around the office that would work, and we're gonna see if this works, but
we found some spare metal parts. We're gonna create a spacer, and that secondary grill surface is where we're actually gonna do, like, to put the cheese, and we've got a tray full of ice that kind of keeps things a little bit cooler. We'll kind of wedge it in there. He had, the Primo, they also sell like an oval shape, which gives you a little bit more surface area. So yeah, you've got a temperature probe there. We'll probably put this fan, and by the way, this we've used the adapter on our fan here. This is something relatively new where we have different adapter styles that can kind of fit on this front flange. This is the standard fan that we sell that plugs right into the FireBoard drive, FireBoard 2 drive. So this output will vary the fan speed with voltage, so you can run this fan at a really low speed.
So what we did was, for example, in Smoking Dad's video, he mentioned that he used a double indirect setup. we don't necessarily have that exact thing, but we've got as close as we could to it. So we've got, like we mentioned, very minimal coal, charcoal, going at super low heat. We want to control that heat, almost no heat at all. And then we have a deflector plate along with a rack, and then ice and foil, and then another extension rack. And then we're gonna set the cheese on top.
And I think right now, we'll probably let this sit for just a minute, kind of let this smoke build up, and then we'll probably check back in. I can already start to, yeah, you can already start to see some of that smoke because that charcoal was kind of just barely going, and you can kind of start to see that build up just a touch. So we'll continue to let that build. I think the goal here would be to smoke this for maybe about 45 minutes or an hour or something in that ballpark, right? We don't need a ton of smoke, but I think you need enough time for that to kind of get through. So yeah, this is good. By the way, check out Smoking Dad YouTube channel. He did a great job. He's one of our affiliates where he does a lot of content with new equipment reviews, testing different ways of cooking things. He gets into a little bit more of the science and technology. I think he's kind of a techie guy. So check out his YouTube channel. We'll have a link to that down below. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll pop back in here, give this a few minutes. All right, we've got about 93 degrees on FireBoard 2. I've got a 100-degree set point, so which kind of leaves you with it. It's warm, obviously. It's not very hot. I mean, that's not hot enough to melt cheese, but it's just warm enough to kind of keep the charcoal going. You can lift that up there, just, you know. So we've got a few pellets we kind of drop down in there on top of the charcoal, and there's been kind of smoke on and off here as that little bit of charcoal kind of continues just to smolder. So, and it's interesting too because it's hovered. We have a probe right here above the ice. You know, we're hovering right around 94. So we really haven't been hotter than we wanted to be. And I think this is, it's still rolling the way we wanted it to roll. So what do you think, Alex? So far so good?
I think so. Yeah.
We'll let this continue to smolder here for a little bit, and we'll kind of keep you guys posted on the progress. But right now, I think the answer seems to be we kind of failed earlier because we put too much charcoal in, and the fire just kind of took off. And then what we tried to do is we basically tried to like shut it down and close off all the air. Well, then like if the fire just totally went out, and then of course you don't have enough smoke. So we're trying to kind of find that balance between just enough to kind of keep it going, where you can add enough air where it keeps that stuff smoldering, but just where it doesn't get too hot. Okay, we are back. We're going to wrap this up. So to summarize, this has been on for about 40-ish minutes, and we're still kind of in the high 80s, low 90s. I think the trick with this is, number one, the ice trick is actually pretty key, just because it kind of helps keep that cheese cooled. You know, there's so little amount of fuel in here that there's really no warmth that's coming from the underneath of any substantial amount, and there's a little bit of smoke, so that's a success. Take a look here what we've got, and yeah, so you can start to see the cheese is obviously it's not melted, so that's another big goal, is we don't want to melt the cheese, so we want to actually just slowly kind of get a little bit of smoke on there. So I think this is actually so far working pretty well, and we're going to do a little sample here, which you guys know. I might even try a little
taste test.
Let's do a little taste and see what we think.
Well, cheers.
Yeah, not too bad. There's a little bit of smoke on there. I think with this setup, you could probably run this for a couple hours. You also can slide in a little bit more fuel around the edges sometimes. You can actually generate even just a touch more smoke. So anyway, this is kind of an interesting learning experience. We wanted to get the FireBoard drive set up here just to see how this would work. I think Alec has some screenshots, right, of some of our session. You kind of checked it out in the video as well.
Yep.
So thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned. Talk to you soon.